There's a reason some engines quietly reach 400,000 miles without drama, and it's not the oil brand, type, or price. In Japan, oil changes aren't treated like routine maintenance. Mechanics follow a Kaizen approach, small improvements repeated every single time, controlled steps that keep wear from building up. Over time, that changes everything. In this video, I'll show you the Japanese oil change secret that makes engines last 600,000 miles. Let's get into it. Number 13, where longevity quietly begins. Most engines don't fail because of one bad oil change. They fail because of hundreds of average ones. That's the part most people miss. An oil change isn't just about replacing old oil with new oil, it's about controlling wear. Every time you drain and refill, you either reduce contamination slightly or you carry some of it forward into the next cycle. Inside the engine, lubrication depends on a thin oil film. When that film stays stable, wear is minimal. When contamination builds up, fuel dilution, soot, microscopic metal particles, that stability starts to break down, not all at once, gradually. If each oil change leaves behind a little more residue than it should, that effect compounds. Over 100,000 miles it starts to show. Over 200,000, it becomes obvious. The Japanese approach treats this differently. Each oil change is handled as a small correction. Not perfect, but slightly cleaner conditions every time. Most people focus on oil type, synthetic, conventional, brand names. That matters, but it's not the deciding factor. Consistency is. Over hundreds of cycles, small improvements change the entire wear pattern of the engine. That's where long engine life actually begins. It starts before the oil even leaves the engine. Number 12, a warmer start before the drain. Oil doesn't behave the same at all temperatures. That's where this step comes in. When oil is cold, viscosity is higher. It flows slower. More importantly, contaminants are not evenly suspended. Heavier particles settle. Some remain in low flow areas inside the engine. If you drain oil in that condition, you're not removing everything evenly. You're draining what flows easiest, while some contamination stays behind. Now compare that to oil at operating temperature. After about 10 to 15 minutes of normal driving, viscosity drops into its designed range. Flow improves. Contaminants remain suspended throughout the oil instead of settling. That changes what actually drains out. You're not removing 100% of the old oil, that's mechanically impossible, but you are reducing how much contaminated residue stays behind to mix with the new oil. Most oil changes ignore this completely. The car arrives, the oil gets drained, cold, warm, doesn't matter. The better approach is controlled. Bring the engine to operating temperature, then drain while it's still warm, not overheated, not cold, just within its normal working range. It's a small adjustment, but repeated over time, it changes how clean each oil cycle starts. What happens next depends on timing just as much as temperature. Number 11, timing the drain. Warming the engine is only part of it. What happens right after matters just as much. Oil doesn't stay in that ideal state for long. Once the engine is turned off, temperature begins to drop. As it cools, viscosity increases again. Flow slows down. Contaminants that were suspended during operation begin to settle. That creates a small but important window. When the oil is still at operating temperature, it drains more completely. It carries more of the suspended material with it. That's the moment you want. Delay that drain, even by 20 or 30 minutes, and the advantage starts to fade. Some of that contamination no longer moves as freely. More of it stays behind. In many quick oil changes, timing isn't controlled. The vehicle arrives, sits, and the drain happens whenever the process begins. It works, but it introduces variability. The Japanese method is more deliberate. Once the engine is properly warmed, the drain happens immediately. While the oil is still flowing the way it was designed to, it's not a different step, it's tighter control of the same step. Over time, that control changes how much contamination actually leaves the engine, which becomes even more noticeable once the main flow starts to slow down. Number 10, extended drain window. The moment the oil slows to a trickle, that's where most people stop. That's also where the difference begins. What you see draining isn't the full picture. A large portion of oil sits higher up in the engine, around the camshaft, valve train, and narrow passages. It doesn't rush down. It clings to surfaces, then returns slowly. Give it a few extra minutes, and more of that used oil makes its way back to the pan. Cut it short, and that portion stays behind, blending straight into the fresh oil you just added. It doesn't ruin the oil instantly, but it slightly weakens it from the very first cycle. In faster service settings, time is limited. Once the stream slows, the plug goes back in. It's efficient, but it leaves a margin on the table. The Japanese method leans the other way. After the main flow ends, they simply wait. No guesswork, no rushing, just allowing gravity to finish what it started. Over one oil change, it feels minor. Over years, it keeps each refill starting cleaner than the last. Even after all that waiting, there's still a layer of old oil that never truly leaves, which is why the next step focuses on what remains behind. Number 9. Letting the oil settle. Finishing the oil change too quickly is where small errors creep in. Rushing the final step is where small mistakes slip in. Right after refilling, the oil hasn't fully spread through the engine yet. Some is still in the filter, some in upper components, and some hasn't returned to the pan. So when you check the dipstick immediately, the reading can be off. That's how engines end up slightly overfilled without anyone noticing. My Japanese mechanic friend schooled me on this. Instead of filling to the exact level right away, they add most of the oil first. Let it sit briefly. Start the engine for a short idle, then shut it off, wait a minute, and check again. Now the oil has circulated and settled. The reading is accurate. Most people skip this and rely on the first check. It works, but it introduces small inconsistencies over time. This step removes that guesswork. Ignoring some steps if you want your car to go past 600,000 miles might cost you. Because once the level is right, what happens at startup becomes even more critical. Number 8. Sealing problems. A tiny washer can decide whether your oil change holds or slowly leaks. That drain plug seal, usually aluminum or copper, is designed to compress once and create a tight seal. After that, it doesn't return to its original shape. Reuse it a few times and it stops sealing properly. I've seen cases where everything looked fine after an oil change, but a slow leak developed over the next few days. Nothing dramatic, just a thin film of oil around the pan, then a gradual drop on the dipstick. By the time it's noticed, the engine has already been running below optimal levels. I adapted the Japanese method that avoids that risk entirely. They treat the washer as a one-time use component. Replace it every oil change. No guessing or stretching its lifespan. A fresh seal every time. It's a small detail, but it protects oil pressure, prevents contamination from outside, and keeps the system stable between changes. Most people overlook it because it seems insignificant. But over time, it's the small sealing points that quietly protect the entire engine. Once the system is sealed properly, the next step is making sure the filter does its job just as reliably. Number 7. Anti-drainback behavior. That brief ticking sound on startup usually means one thing. Oil isn't reaching critical parts fast enough. Inside the oil filter is a small valve called the anti-drainback valve. Its job is to keep oil from draining out of the filter when the engine is off. When it works, oil stays in place, and pressure builds almost immediately at startup. When it doesn't, the filter empties. On the next start, the pump has to refill it before oil reaches the engine. Those few seconds of delay? That's where repeated wear begins. A Japanese mechanic would not go for any filter. They pay attention to how well it holds oil overnight. Filters with proper anti-drainback design, often using silicone rather than basic rubber, are preferred because they stay flexible longer and seal better. It's not about brand hype, it's about function. Most people focus on filtration alone. The Japanese method looks at retention first, keeping oil where it's needed before the engine even starts. It's a small detail, but over thousands of cold starts, it changes how quickly the engine is protected. The next step is getting it circulating under pressure as fast as possible. Number 6. Gasket and prefill concept. That first start after an oil change is where everything is decided. Before the engine even turns over, a Japanese mechanic focuses on two small details, sealing and prefill. A thin film of fresh oil goes on the filter gasket. Not for lubrication during driving, but to ensure a smooth, even seal when the filter is tightened. It prevents binding, reduces the chance of leaks, and allows proper compression. Then comes the prefill. If the filter is mounted vertically, they don't install it dry. Oil is added into the filter before it goes on. That way, the moment the engine starts, the system doesn't waste time filling an empty filter. It's a subtle step, but it shortens the delay before oil pressure stabilizes. The first few seconds of startup are when lubrication is at its weakest. Reducing that delay, even slightly, changes how much wear happens over time. Most oil changes skip this entirely. Install, tighten, start. This method prepares the system before it even runs. If you're getting value from this, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. What happens next isn't about installing parts. It's about how the oil is introduced into the engine itself. Number 5, oil pressure stabilization. Right after the engine fires up, there's a brief moment where everything is still catching up. Oil is moving, but pressure hasn't fully stabilized yet. During that window, key components are not fully protected. It's short, just a few seconds, but it happens every single time the engine starts. That's where the Japanese method slows things down. Instead of revving the engine immediately after an oil change, they let it idle, quietly, no throttle input. Just enough time for the oil pump to build pressure and push oil through every passage. You'll often notice it if you pay attention. The engine sound settles slightly, the tone smooths out. That's pressure stabilizing. In faster service routines, this step is skipped. The engine starts, throttle is applied, and the system is forced to catch up under load. The difference isn't dramatic in one moment, but repeated over thousands of startups. It changes how much stress the engine sees in its most vulnerable state. It's not about doing more. It's about allowing the system to stabilize before demanding anything from it. The focus shifts now to how that oil level is finalized and maintained. Number 4, gradual filling approach. Pouring all the oil in at once feels efficient. It isn't precise. When oil is added too quickly, it doesn't immediately settle where it should. Some of it lingers in upper passages. Some takes time to reach the pan. In that moment, the dipstick doesn't reflect the true level. It reflects a temporary state. The Japanese mechanics approaches this differently. Instead of filling to capacity in one go, they add about 80 to 90% first. Then they pause. Let the oil move through the system naturally. After that, they top it off gradually, watching how the level responds rather than guessing. It's a controlled process. That control prevents overfilling, which can introduce aeration, tiny air bubbles that reduce lubrication stability. It also ensures the oil level matches the engine's actual operating condition, not just a static measurement. In many quick oil changes, refill is rushed. Pour, check once, and move on. Here, the refill is treated as part of the system, not just the final step. The attention shifts to a limit most people push without realizing, where full quietly becomes too much. Number 3, rechecking oil level. The most accurate oil reading doesn't come right after you fill it. It comes after the engine has had a moment to run and then rest. Once the oil is added and the engine is started, the system changes. Oil moves through galleries, fills the filter, coats internal components, then slowly returns to the pan. That process takes time. Check too early, and the reading can mislead you. It may look slightly low, prompting an unnecessary top-up. That's how engines end up overfilled without it being obvious. The Japanese method builds this into the process. After a short idle, the engine is shut off. Then there's a pause. Just enough time for the oil to settle back down. Only then is the dipstick checked again. That second reading reflects the engine's true condition. It's a simple step, often skipped because it feels redundant, but it removes guesswork and locks in the correct level with precision. Across many oil changes, that consistency keeps pressure stable and avoids small imbalances that add up over time. Now the focus shifts to a limit many drivers cross without realizing it, where full quietly becomes too much. Number 2, preventative care. Long engine life isn't just about what happens during the oil change. It's about what never gets the chance to go wrong. In Japan, vehicles go through a strict inspection system known as Shaken. It's detailed, it's costly, and it pushes owners to fix small issues before they turn into bigger ones. That mindset carries into how oil changes are handled. Instead of waiting for symptoms, leaks, low pressure, worn seals, components are addressed early. Drain plug washers get replaced before they fail. Filters are changed without stretching their lifespan. Oil is refreshed before it degrades too far. It's not reactive, it's controlled. Over time, that approach keeps the entire lubrication system stable. No sudden drops in pressure, no gradual buildup of sludge from delayed maintenance. Just consistent operating conditions. In less structured systems, maintenance often happens after something feels off. Here, it happens before anything changes. It may seem excessive in the moment, but across years of ownership, it prevents the small issues that quietly accelerate wear. From there, everything ties back to one idea. Maintenance isn't occasional, It's continuous. Number 1. Conservative oil changes. Long intervals sound efficient on paper. In practice, they slowly shift the engine into a less stable state. Modern oil is a chemical system. It starts strong. Detergents active, viscosity stable, additives doing their job. Then heat, fuel dilution, and combustion byproducts begin to break that balance down. Not suddenly, gradually. Stretch the interval too far, and the oil is still there, but it's no longer working the same way. The Japanese approach leans conservative. Instead of chasing maximum mileage per oil change, they aim for consistent protection. Shorter intervals, often around 3,000 to 5,000 miles depending on use, keep the oil within its effective range. You won't feel the difference at 20,000 or even 80,000 miles. But past 150,000, the pattern starts to show. Cleaner internals, more stable operation, less oil consumption. This mirrors what we saw earlier. Longevity isn't tied to one decision. It's built through controlled, repeated cycles. The oil isn't pushed to its limit. The engine isn't exposed to unnecessary stress. Over time, that restraint is what allows engines to keep running, long after others begin to fade. That's really what it comes down to. Small steps, done the right way, over and over again. That's how engines last. And before you go, make sure you watch our next video on 9 fuel additives that waste money and 7 that actually clean your injectors.